One quiet morning, someone asked the Buddha, "Why are some people born into light while others carry heavy burdens?" The Buddha smiled softly, his eyes calm and distant. "My children, if we step far back to the first days of this planet, we will see something very simple. At that time, Earth was only fire, steam, and melting rocks. There were no trees, no people, nothing with a name or a shape. Everything spun and boiled in a huge sea of chaos, not yet formed. Imagine a vast mass of matter where endless heat was melting every difference. In that first moment, look closely at each bit of matter. Is an iron atom different from an oxygen atom? Would a hot drop of water ever think it is nobler than a stone? Not at all. Everything existed in the perfect equality of nature. There was no judging. There was only one action, moving, touching, colliding, and changing places. There was no idea of good or bad, no levels or borders. It was the purest state, a place with no sower and no reaper. If we look at that time with no names, with no me and others, we will see peace. I would tell you, in that not knowing, no one is above or below. There is only the flow of nature. When our hearts have not yet learned to name ourselves, have not said this is mine or that is a burden, how could suffering appear? Suffering begins when we start to measure. It is like when Earth was still one round mass. There was no peak and no deep valley. All the burdens and misfortune you feel today begin from the moment humans started to name all things, when we gave higher or lower value to what we met. The start of everything is always equality, the equality of what has not yet been named. Suffering or luck is not the nature of the world. They are only shadows made by the mind when it begins to divide and compare. Only when we see this first equality can we put down the first burden. The burden of difference. Time is the most patient thing in the universe. It moves quietly, never in a rush, and never stops. Little by little, the great fire cooled, and the first order began to form. Steam gathered into deep blue oceans. Cooled rocks hardened and rose into the first continents. At that very moment, the first difference appeared without warning and without any guiding hand. No place was the same as another. Some places received much sunlight and became warm, wet and full of chances for life. Other places hid from the sun, where steam froze into ice and darkness stayed cold forever. The difference between hot and cold, light and dark, high and low did not come from any will or power. It was only the natural result of physical laws. Gravity pulled heavy things and made height, and heat spread unevenly and made hot and cold regions. This is nature's unintentional difference. Now look at yourself. Being born into a full and ready family, or starting life in lack and struggle, is not a reward or a punishment from fate. It is only the effect of the conditions that already existed, like Earth having bright places and dark places. Imagine yourself as a seed falling to the ground. One seed falls by the river, where the soil is wet and rich. Another seed falls into a dry crack in a high mountain and must search for every drop of water. They are both seeds, only different in where they landed. No seed is more to blame or more to pity. The situation you are born into is only part of the natural flow, the result of many physical and social causes that have moved for a long time before you could choose anything. It carries no judgment and gives no sentence. When we understand this simple truth, we will look at differences with kindness and acceptance instead of envy or self-blame. Difference is not a mistake. It is only the rough surface of the earth, a part of natural order. The ocean became calm and started to move in a new way. In the warm water, life stirred. Tiny first beings were born. At that moment, a new rule appeared: desire. Any being that took in more light and more nutrients grew faster, became stronger, and had a better chance to multiply. This quiet struggle had no words and no enemies. It had only one drive: to live, and to want a little more. The difference in conditions had already been there, but this was the first time it joined with a will to possess, a steady, strong, and never satisfied want. We call this the first greed, the early push of all life to last longer, be stronger, and hold more. From here, unfairness did not come from earth and sky anymore. It rose from the fighting inside life itself. If we follow this flow, we will see a deep truth about the human heart. When there is a wish to exist, there will be comparison. When there is comparison, suffering starts to grow. The tiny beings were not evil, but turning toward more light was already a first kind of wanting. As people grow up, that wanting grows too. It becomes wanting more than others have, a bigger home, more money, more fame. And when we look around and see others have more than we do, we start to feel we lack something, even when in truth, we already have a lot. Those born in good conditions, surrounded by light, often find happiness more easily because their lives are less threatened. Those born in hard conditions, who must try with all their strength to survive, often carry a heavy feeling because they must fight lack and the feeling of being left behind. From the very start of life, happiness and suffering have come from greed and comparison. This struggle is a natural rule that has existed since the time of tiny life forms. But when it enters the human mind, it turns into dissatisfaction, envy, and hatred, burdens that nature never gave us. We cannot erase this biological rule, but we can choose how our minds respond to difference. When we understand this, our hearts become lighter, like the sea after the wind has passed, with waves still there, but no storm. Then humans appeared and began to move and put up tents. They started to notice the big differences that Earth had made and learned how to adapt. Those lucky to live on rich riverbanks, where crops were easy to grow, learned farming, stored food, and slowly became well-fed. They had extra time to think, to create language, and to form a community. On the other hand, people in dry deserts or steep mountains had to use all their energy just to survive, only to find enough food for the day. They had little time to think beyond their immediate needs. Earth, in its unintentional way, made plenty lands the base of wealth, and scarce lands the base of struggle. From these physical and geographic differences, early social classes formed naturally and unavoidably. Those who had enough could gather together and protect their resources. And sometimes, because of that advantage, they made those with less work for them. Land difference turned into power difference. Remember this: Earth does not favor anyone. It only reflects a simple rule of physical causes and conditions. Where rains and winds are kind, trees grow well. Where water is missing, the ground is dry. In human life, it is the same. The blessings or burdens you carry are not a sentence. They are the natural result of the meeting between the place you were born and the choices you make. The environment is the foundation, but your attitude, your patience, and your choices are what write your life story. Geographic difference is only a temporary test, like a first map. It is not the only road you must walk. From those differences in land and resources, humans began to build civilization. People in favorable places soon raised great empires, made laws to guard their wealth, grew strong, formed armies, and controlled weaker groups in poorer lands. From that moment, humans used natural conditions to build walls in society, turning status and power into things passed down through generations. But if we look along the whole river of history, we will hear a soft reminder that never fades. Nothing lasts forever. Look at Great Egypt, where pyramids stood proud in the desert, then turned to dust and remained only as ruins. Look at Greece of philosophy and Rome of military power. All of them also sank into time. Civilizations always turn and trade places like unending waves rising and falling. The higher or lower in status, wealth or power that you see today is only temporary, like the sea that never rests. Whoever understands this will say, no peak stands forever. Every mountain will become a plain as time moves on, and every plain can be lifted into a mountain. Today's good conditions may disappear tomorrow. The burden you carry on your shoulders will grow lighter when you learn to loosen your grip on it, because everything in this world is changing. When people entered the age of machines and technology, the industrial age, we mastered many parts of nature. But it is ironic that at the same time, we created deeper gaps between people than ever before. What was once only good land or poor land has now become rich or poor on the world's economic map. Those born in rich centers inherit many good things: advanced schools, new technology, and a comfortable life from their first day. They are like seeds falling on rich soil, covered and protected from storms. Those born in poor areas must bear the dark side of growth: industrial waste, dirty rivers, or wars over resources they never chose. They are like seeds on dry ground, pushing up through stones and sand. This teaches us something. Earth does not create injustice. It only creates different conditions. It is the human mind, with bottomless greed and lack of understanding, that takes those conditions and turns them into invisible walls that divide us. walls of money, of borders, of opportunity. Injustice is not in land or matter, it is in how we treat each other because of matter. The weight on one person's shoulders is often the comfort of another's. We have unknowingly turned natural conditions into social chains where people no longer struggle only with nature, but begin to struggle with one another. Today we live in a world connected by the internet and countless flights. Knowledge can reach every place, every language, every mind. In material terms, the old walls of geography have almost disappeared. A person in a small village can learn the best things from great centers of learning, and opportunity is no longer locked by the place of birth. Yet even though we joined lands with cables and satellites, human hearts are still deeply divided. We can see each other on screens, but we still do not truly see each other with understanding eyes. We still fear difference, still judge harshly, still compare and envy what others have. The split is no longer about physical distance, it is the distance between hearts. This shows a key truth. Happiness is no longer in geography or property. It is in the level of awareness and the light within the mind. A person who is kind, who knows enough, who knows how to love, can find peace even in a simple house. Another person who owns great wealth but is full of fear, worry, and endless desire still lives in an invisible prison, heavier than iron chains. Geography has opened, but the heart has closed. The world will truly connect only when the human heart learns to understand and to love. In the end, after seeing all changes of the universe, from the first fire to this connected age, we see a simple but deep truth. Like Earth, always turning between day and night, each person carries a map of happiness and suffering inside the heart. Where you were born does not decide everything, because the light of wisdom and peace can grow anywhere. Anyone, no matter how great the pain, can turn inward, notice, and change the way they see life. When you understand the rule of impermanence and the flow of causes, conditions, and nature, you will no longer see yourself as a victim of hard fate, but as someone who can choose how to respond, who can choose where to place the mind. Living in the valley, the heart can still face the mountain top. Living on the mountain, the heart can still bend down to lift those in the valley. Let us close with a gentle message, soft as breath echoing through time. There are people born in the valley and people born on the mountaintop, but those who return to the heart all see the same sky. It does not matter where you begin or what burden you carry. What matters is which eyes you use to see the sky, and whether your heart holds enough understanding and kindness, because there, in the quiet space of your own mind, true happiness and freedom are always waiting.